Hey family, what's good? This is your girl, I'm the Bronze Goddess, and it's time for another strawberry letter. Let's go get 'em. Hello Bronze Goddess, I recently discovered your channel and I wanted to get some advice. I'm 25 years old and seeing someone for the last 4 months and everything was going great, so I thought. When we first met initially, he told me that he had a 4-year-old daughter. I've always said I did not want to get involved with a man who had a child simply because I would not be the first priority in his life. In fact, the moment he told me he had a daughter, I expressed that I thought that it would be best if we did not move forward simply because I felt like in this scenario, it would be difficult for me to be a priority in his life. He called me and told me that he and the child's mother was no longer together and that he had moved on and so did she. He told me that at this time and the point in his life, all he wanted to do was take care of his daughter and make sure that she was comfortable. I prayed on it and thought that because he was upfront with everything, I would give him a chance, and I let him know that we would take things slowly. We went out weekly, we had great conversations, he introduced me to his friends and his uncle who he was living with. As we talked more and more, I decided to give him a chance. He told me that he cared for me and that he wanted a long-term relationship, and I wanted the same. He called regularly, so we talked often. We spent a decent amount of time together. I really started to open up to him. I was comfortable with him. He made me happy. It was refreshing for me since this was my very first serious relationship. I think that after about 4 months, I started to notice him distance himself from me. The calls were not coming in frequently. He started texting me less and less. I even started to feel like if I didn't call him, I wouldn't hear from him. That made me feel uncomfortable, and I knew it was something that I had to address. I spoke with my cousin who said that this conversation should be done in person. So, however, 2 days later, the daughter's mother called my phone asking me if I knew my boyfriend. Flushed face, flushed face, flushed face. I was shocked that I couldn't believe I was engaged in such a phone call. She was wondering who I was and asked me if he was my boyfriend, and I told her that he was. I knew of her because he had told me about her. Now also, I didn't really ask questions about his past relationship or even why the relationship ended, which I guess was my mistake. But I asked her what was it to her. She said they were just friends, so I was like, well, if you all are just friends, why does it matter who he's dating? Her response was that she might be more, but she wants to know what's up with our situation so that she would know whether or not she should back off. She went on to ask if we were intimate. I told her straight up I didn't feel comfortable discussing that with her, and it was none of her business. I eventually let her know that I knew that she had a daughter with him, and she pretty much told me that they had been in an on and off relationship for 4 years, and according to her, they never really broke up. She asked if we were intimate again and if we used protection, and I felt that was none of her business to be asking me such questions like this. So now the thing has really rattled me is that she said they have been living together for the past 2 years. Now that floored me because I was under the impression he was living with his uncle. I'm going to summarize it from here. Anyways, as the conversation went on, she tried to contact the guy to let him know that his baby's mother contacted her, and he hasn't answered her calls. Her calls go straight to voicemail. He hasn't been talking to her. She's been trying to talk to him. She's even showed up at his place trying to confront him because she was so upset. When she got tired of trying to reach out to him and not getting a response back, she sent him a really long text message basically telling him that the baby's mother contacted her and that she didn't want anything to do with him. So one day he actually finally decided to call her, and she was answering the phone and she was like, hello, hello, hello. He never said a word, but she could hear the baby's mother in the background saying, talk to her. Like, why aren't you talking? She could hear her saying that in the background, and then he ended up hanging up on her. She wants to know, what should she do? Was any of this real? Now, the reason why I wanted to do your particular strawberry letter is because this is why I just recently did the video talking about first date questions. Because I feel like you would never have been involved in a situation like this had you asked the proper questions. The worst thing you could do as a single woman is to assume. You assume nothing. You assumed that he was living with his uncle, but he never told you that. You just assumed that. Why didn't you ask? There's nothing wrong with asking on a first date, do you live alone? How long was your longest relationship and when did it end? Do you mind telling me why you guys broke up? Like, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. He wants to sleep with you. I'm being blunt here, I'm being honest, okay? If a man if he never thought about being intimate with you, he would never have asked you out. Even the men with the best intentions, at some point, they're thinking about being intimate with you. I'm just being frank here. So if you want all of this from me, the very least you can do is answer my questions. So if you didn't feel comfortable enough asking him those basic questions, I bet you didn't ask him about his sexual history or if he's ever been tested for an STD. Like, you're not asking the proper questions, but you're giving everything up. If a man can't answer basic questions, why would you allow him access to your body? Why would you assume? That's the biggest mistake that a single person can make, is to assume, well, if he's talking to me, I assume he's single. So I got in the car with him and I saw a car seat in the back. I assume it was his cousin's. I assume the car seat was this. I saw a tan line on his ring finger. I assume it was, you don't assume anything, you ask. I noticed there's a tan line on your finger. You're not married or anything like that, are you? I noticed there's a car seat in the back. You don't have any kids, do you? Like, there's nothing wrong with asking. Asking simple questions shouldn't scare off a decent man. A man that has something to hide, a man that's not interested in opening up to you, it may scare him away, but you don't want him anyway. Because what does he really want? And the girl in this particular scenario, like, you don't want him. I know you may think that you want him and you think that you love him, but you don't even really know him because it doesn't sound like you asked him very many questions. You had a good time together. That's pretty much it. Now, you didn't reveal in this letter if you were intimate with him, but I suspect that you have. And now you're feeling played. Because he made you feel amazing for these 4 months, and then all of a sudden the text messages slowed up, and the calls slowed up, and he wouldn't answer you unless you were the one who called him. Then you realized, okay, now I'm the one pursuing him. Whenever you notice that shift, that's when you know that you're being used. When he pursues you and pursues you and pursues you relentlessly, is Mr. Perfect. But the minute you're intimate with him, then all of a sudden everything suddenly stops. Suddenly, that's when you know that you were used. And that all of it was a game. All of it was a ploy. Because a man that's really interested in you, nothing stops. It continues. He continues to pursue you. But a man who stops pursuing you, who stops showing any type of interest, stops calling you, stops texting you, all of this romance and all of that dries up immediately after he gets what he wants. That is a telltale sign that you have been played. That is a telltale sign that you have been used. And I'm sorry to be this blunt, but I want to keep you from making this type of mistake in the future. This letter should serve as a cautionary tale for all of my young subbies out there, my college subbies out there. That's why you take your time. Real love is in no rush. It's in no rush. We can take our time to get to know each other. Where are you going? Like, why are we moving so fast? Like, we can take our time to get to know each other. Why can't I ask you deeper questions? If you want a surface level relationship where you guys don't really want much from each other, you just want to kick it, you just want to chill, then ask him basic questions. Ask him if he prefer Tupac or Biggie. Ask him who's his favorite Kardashian. Ask him what his favorite color is and his favorite movie. Ask him those simple surface questions if you want to. If you don't really want much from a relationship, you want to keep it casual. But those of whom who actually want a serious relationship, you want to know if this could possibly be forever, you want to know if he could possibly be bae, you ask deeper questions. Do you live alone? What's your relationship like with your mother? How was your childhood? You're asking certain questions because you want to know if you're compatible. You don't necessarily have to ask these questions on the first date, and you're not asking rapid fire questions like it's a job interview. That's not what you're doing. But those are types of questions that you want to incorporate into your conversations because they're important. Why you gotta wait till 3 or 4 dates, 3 or 4 months down the line to find out if he lives alone? Is that not a deal breaker if he's living with his girl? If he seems like he has a lot of female friends, why can't you ask him? Have you ever dated any of these women? Because they seem awfully friendly and you have a lot of female friends. Have you ever dated any of them? Stop assuming things and stop giving men these excuses. I would much rather say he lied to me than say I never asked. Ask the proper questions. If you see something that doesn't add up to you, why can't you ask? Why can't you say, well, I know you said y'all broke up, but she's calling your phone a lot. Like, what's really going on here? You guys are awfully close. You never dated her, did you? She kind of gave me a weird look when I told her that we were dating. It kind of made me feel like there might have been something between the two of you. Was there ever something between the two of you at one point? Why can't you ask that? This man wants to be intimate with you. Why can't you ask the deeper questions? As a Christian, I have to recommend that you wait. I recommend that you abstain from sex. This is why God's not trying to ruin your fun by making you wait. He's trying to protect you from situations like this one, where you feel used in the end. And you're going to go on the next, if you don't change the behavior, you're going to end up in the exact same scenario with a new guy. It's John today, and then it's Jacob tomorrow, and then it's Jonah the next day. It's going to be guy after guy, and you're going to feel used up. If you don't learn the proper lessons, you're going to keep getting the same test. That goes for relationship. It also goes in life. Until you pass, you continue to be tested. That's why I wanted to make this video. I want to snap you out of it. You ask what you want to know. If something doesn't add up to you, something doesn't feel right in your spirit, why can't you confront this person? What kind of relationship are we in where I can't ask you simple questions and you can't answer me? It's a sign of immaturity to me when a woman is like, that whole Moke and Steph, he's mine, you might have had him once, but I got him all the time. Like, who wants to be, if another girl had him once, she could keep him. Because that means he cheated on me. And I don't want a cheater. Like, me personally, I don't want somebody that I got to be checking his collar for lipstick and going through his phone and investigating. I don't want to do all that. Like, there's too many things going on in my life for me to be running around trying to wonder where you are at every second of every day. Sleep with one eye open. I'm not going to live like that. So I'm not going to do that. The woman in this scenario that's with him, she seems to enjoy this whole, I just want to know what's going on with y'all so I can see if I should pursue him. Like, for 4 years, he hasn't shown her anything. The only thing he's given her in those 4 years is a baby and a headache. Like, do you want to line up for that? Is that what you want? Because he'd be more than happy to give you a baby and a headache too. That's all he's good for. This man can't be faithful not to her, not to you, not to anyone. So consider yourself lucky that you haven't become her, that you're not calling other women, wondering where he's been at, wondering what's going on. Because if he was honest with her, why is she calling you? She doesn't even trust him. Because why wouldn't she ask him what's going on with you and her? She has to ask you. Like, she doesn't even trust him. They've been together for 4 years and they have a child together and she still doesn't trust him. What do you want with him? Y'all giving him way too much credit. What is he giving you? What is he giving her? Besides lies and sex, what else is he giving you? This is why you pray for the man that God has for you. You don't be wasting your time, your body, your energy, entertaining calls like this. Like you said, I couldn't believe I was on the phone entertaining such a call. You shouldn't have to do stuff like that. That's ratchet life. Who wants that? Righteousness, not ratchetness, okay? Anyway, I love you guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Be sure to thumbs up if you did. And also, if you did, check out my playlist. I have over 200 love and relationship advice videos over the past 5 years. And also, if you enjoyed these videos, be sure to check out my book. It's called The Dating Game: How to Find Yourself While Looking for Mr. Right. It's on Amazon, Create Space, and also available in Kindle format. You can download the book for like $8 right now if you want to check it out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Till next time, later divas and dudes. Deuces, honey.